Will we be stopping for food? I would not mind trying something, and there are plenty of options.
How are you today?
Captain! Over here! The workup's in the cabinet's hand. But listen, so, in the interest of full disclosure, my relationship with the UC, it's more complicated than it might seem at first glance. The UC's actually the only reason I'm here in the first place. I am a clone of a man named Francois Sanon, one-time fleet admiral of the UC during the Colony War, former head of the UC Navy. They called him Ve Victus. Woe to the defeated, in Old Earth Latin. A title he earned. The program I was a part of, it was the UC's attempt to create a new generation of military minds from one of their most secure the leadership. I'm getting there. The man, Freestar Collect, and the things he did, well, they're a part of the reason the UC and Freestar Collect. So my involvement, it could be another obstacle. That's not an unfair. So your help me, I just... You know, while we've got us... Or if... No telling how long... That's actually a souvenir from the Red Devils unit I was a part of. They were founded. The dust at... It became an The Devils were always talked about in such revered tones during my training. And the eyes were... it's hard to know exactly what... I'd just be honest about what you saw. Then I guess it's just a matter of...
The cabinet meeting is about to begin. All parties, please proceed to the cabinet chambers.
Sounds like our cue. Ah, Captain. Congratulations on joining the ranks of the Vanguard.
Ah, welcome. You must be the captain Hadrian mentioned in her report. You have our thanks for the risks you faced in securing this information.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
Yes, well, precisely how urgent is what I hope will determine here today. So now, we have two petitioners here making a surprising request. Access to the UC Xeno Warfare Team's Terramorph data, currently housed in the Armistice archives. A request which will require not just this body's agreement, but that of all three Armistice signatories. UC, Freestar Collective, and House Varun. Now, Captain, we've all read Hadrian's report on the subject, but we have yet to hear from you. Perhaps you could summarize for the Cabinet what it is you see as the goal of this endeavor.
That's quite the leap, Captain. Madam President, I object to the very premise of this meeting. While no one would argue that what happened on Tau Ceti was anything less than a tragedy, terramorph attacks are not some sudden new threat on the horizon. They've been happening for generations. To demand we hand over banned archival knowledge and possibly upset the balance of galactic diplomacy because of a single attack seems at best panic. And at worst, a power grab by the daughter of a bloodthirsty warmonger and her associates.
I would remind the chief diplomat who he's speaking to. If it's my father you're looking to address, you're welcome to consult a medium. I would also ask how many deaths the cabinet requires to act. 50? 50,000? Because if tragedies like Tau Ceti are just prelude to more attacks, I have no doubt you'll get the body count you require.
Let's keep this civil, shall we? And while there should be no doubt the preservation of life stands paramount among this body's duties, Chief Yassine has a point. Will a single attack, however troubling, be sufficient to convince the other factions to grant us access to what they no doubt consider weapon data? I don't think it's enough. Perhaps you can help, Captain. As the one who actually collected the sample in question, did this terramorph seem at all alarming to you?
That is worth considering. This attack took place on an almost completely uninhabited world. The casualties were minimal as a result. But if there's another attack, will we be so lucky?
Yes, a fine point, Admiral. So then, Captain, given the discussion now and the information you've been privy to thus far, if you were in our position, would you grant the request made to open the archives?
What? What?
Whatever risks exist, they are outweighed by this imminent threat. I agree. The request should be granted.
I'm inclined to agree.
As am I.
I suppose that does get to the heart of the point, doesn't it? Very well. I consent. The galaxy was lucky you were here today, Captain.
You and I are in agreement, Chief Diplomat. So, if there are no other objections, I believe we can agree to give our full backing to make the request to...
What?
An incident has occurred. Facility lockdown engaged.
Incident? Chief Sarkin, what's happening?
Attack at the spaceport. Terramorphs.
Terramorphs. More attacks. Just as predicted.
Good God.
Oh no.
There must be another explanation. The creatures evaded our scanner somehow.
There will be plenty of time for conjecture later. Chief Sarkin, order the evacuation of the spaceport and have your men contain the things, but do it discreetly. The last thing we need is a citywide panic.
Yes, ma'am.
Admiral Logan, the local barracks can provide support?
I'll make the order myself. Nearest anti-Xeno squad, though, is off-world. Going to take a while to bring them in.
Well then, we'll have to make do with the tools we've got. You two, we can't risk those things getting out of the spaceport. I want you both on the next train there. We'll let them know you're coming, and that you've dealt with these things before. Now go show them how it's done.
We're on it,
I
ma'am.
served my time in the fleet.
Captain, I'm right behind you.
Were I a
Let's
young
get down
man,
there.
I'd be back out there now.
What?
Destroy them! Threat neutralized! Finish! Come on!
The way those people were acting. I've seen this before.
I don't know. They were down at the port and they just started... We tried to restrain them, but some of the other officers down there...
Pheromonic projection. Some terramorph. It affects everyone differently, but some people just lose control. Turn against You kill the morph? Let's do it.
Nat's unlocked. Please.
I believe we are not alone.
No time to waste, Captain. Stash the EM and pull some firepower. Let's move!
An evacuation order has been issued for the spaceport district. All citizens are required to proceed to the nearest shelter.
Don't just stand there. Kill it.
Captain! You're going to be okay! It's not real! Whatever you're experiencing right now, it's not real! You have to put down that form!
If they have anything available.
One fire team to spare, and whatever supplies you need, but I can't risk them taking over any more men. Put those things down and do it fast. We'll hold them as best we can. We can only spare the one fire.
Heard you might be looking for some backup. You say the...
You two have any experience with
Only the brief they just gave on the way here.
surviving a full-on mental...
We're not UC security. You don't need to... Your call. We're on the...
city is safe, thanks to us. You deserve whatever accolades you have coming.
Guess they weren't kidding about you two. I don't want to think what would have happened if you...
Just glad we could rise. Captain, we should report back to the President. Let her know the Terramorphs have been done. Take care of yourself, Sergeant.
Attention. The spaceport. Has been secured. Safety precautions remain in place. Please wait for the all clear signal before exiting your homes. That is all.
Terramorphs. Holy hell.
That's a relief to hear. Thank you, gentlemen. Let your people all know how much we owe them today.
Yes, ma'am. Anyone in the line.
Ah,
dude,
there you
is
are.
a tragedy.
I believe
These attacks,
we have some things
they
we should
can't happen
discuss.
again.
Those creatures killed
Captain?
citizens.
Hadrian,
They're not
it
killing.
would appear that the Cabinet owes you our thanks for what you did for the city today. As well as an apology. Your concerns about the Terramorphs.
Thank you, ma'am.
Of course. Now, today's event, you will have our full support in collecting the Terramorph data from the... But to accomplish those goals, we're going to need the right people. As such, the Cabinet has authorized me to As soon as we've got the data in hand, we want you investigating these attacks and how to stop them.
Yeah.
Excellent. But as you've both made clear, for such an investigation to succeed first, we're going to need someone to convince the Freestar Collective and House... Someone who knows precisely the sorts of dangers that... The Cabinet wants you, Captain. We do. In exchange, we're willing to fast-track your citizenship upon collection of the... So... I'm glad to hear it. Now, we, of course, won't be sending you in without the proper support. Deputy McIntyre in the Office of Interstellar Affairs. You should be able to find her in our office. And on behalf of the whole of the United Colonies.
My officers were prepared for what happened at the space.
I'm gonna go check in with Chief Engineer Kokar.
I intend to correct that.
Seen these orders. A Vanguard captain. You... Yes, sir. I'll make sure they get what they require. That must make you my Vanguard captain. Welcome to Interstellar Affairs. I'm Deputy Chief Diplomat Mac. I heard you were instrumental in... I was also informed that you gave quite the Chief Yassine wants you to know the Interstellar Affairs Office. We're going to do everything in our power to make... And that means first getting you into the archives. You do know what the... Someone paid attention in current events. Access to the archives is only granted in cases of dire emergency, and requires a UC Freestar. Now, the UC is already on board, so that means we'll need to convince 2 people. The ambassador. Get them both, and you'll have your data. But... It won't. Both ambassadors have reasons they won't. Now, I'll provide guidance on how we believe you can acquire each code. And I do mean cooperate. Threats? Though that doesn't mean we can't get creative. But it does mean we need to get you up to speed on who you're dealing with. Who do you want to start with? Ambassador Radcliffe of Freestar, or Ambassador Balmore of House Varoon? The good Ambassador Radcliffe.
It sounds as though I will.
Now, officially, our office is suggesting you try and use your experiences as a member of the military and with the threat we're facing to convince her to lend her support. And who knows? Maybe that'll... But my suspicion is we're going to have to rely on other tools to get her code. Certainly. See, good diplomacy is all about the care. UC Intelligence has a recording device planted in the ambassador's living quarters, which we suspect. But getting caught trespassing is a quick way. To land yourself in an embassy holding cell. So, if you are going to try and access the device, you're going to need to find a way in there without being seen. Now, we recovered some intel we believe should... But there's also a disgruntled staff member you might be able to pump for. Name's Cameron Long. He's younger than Ratcliffe. He works closely with the ambassador, making... And someone who very likely... All right. Here, your diplomatic ID. I'll give them a heads up. And take these. Chief Yassine wanted you to have some options. Captain, would you like to... Official line is that you're to... My suggestion is to access the listening device in her quarters to get leverage on her and don't get caught doing it. She's also got a staff... Ambassador Balmore's. When the rest of... He's since lent his support to a small number of archive... Though claiming to know how a member of House Varoon thinks is a... It does. We're not 100% sure about his public appearances were always rare. But it's been scans of the facility show life signs. But your task is to find him and kindly but firmly remind him of his due. I have no doubt. Now, the embassy front door isn't an option, but our spies have stated there's a side entrance that should allow you Here, this device should get you all the way down to the embassy. And fair warning, we received a report that alarms might have been tripped inside the embassy during the attacks. Watch out for. Now, if you have additional questions or require clearance for a new approach we haven't already... I'd suggest you start with Ambassador Radcliffe. Approach her while the attack is... Be smart out there, Captain.
There's a loophole. You just have to register as a shipping service.
Sorry, but I need sign-off from the Interstellar Affairs Office.
I cannot help but notice that the Colony War Memorial is in direct line of sight of this embassy.
Visitors are only allowed in...
I wonder how many times one side or the other has threatened to close this embassy down over the years.
More than one? All that security, and they still can't protect their own space.
building is Freestar sovereign territory. So in here, we're the law.
You're allowed 3 places.
What are you doing in here?
Official business? Talk to the ambassador.
That woman. Oh, sorry. Oh, you know, I was about to board the Nat to the spaceport when the alarm triggered. And like I've got you to thank for things not being all. Doubt the Vanguard would have a lot of recruits. But look, the ambassador likes to handle all that, even if he does have trained diplomats. And I don't want to get shipped back to Aquila City, so... You... Let's talk in my office. So you want me to work with... No, I think that's a pretty safe assumption. And no other city should have to go through what happened. So then, our quarters. And you, and the UC. Oh, wait, I thought you were looking to hire... Okay, so there's a utility corridor that leads to the ambassador's quarters, which you can access through the main conference room. Here, the key. Whatever you do, I'll keep an ear out for more instructions.
Sounds like it was a real mess down at the space.
I'm sorry. Do you... Ah, you're the one McIntyre called about. The eyewitness. She said, "You have my thanks for what you did down there, true." Now, she also mentioned that, and maybe it was just a bad that now the UC wants terramorph data from the Armistice archives. Some of the most highly guarded. I can only presume you're here to tell me I misheard her and that they didn't send you, local hero, to futilely beg on their behalf. Let me be frank, Captain. The answer is no. I will not be the one responsible for its release. Now, why don't you quit? Excuse me? No, no. If the Look, I believe we may have gotten off on the wrong foot. So perhaps if I can trust you to keep this little secret between us, then maybe we can... You're... Oh? Oh. And a good one, too. Well, trust... In fact, I think there's an opportunity here. Keep both... I can only let you get the information on the terramorphs. And all research will need to be monitored. Freestar scientific observers making sure every... But those two items should be enough. So then, you've thought about my offer? I grant you access. What on earth are you... Ah, yeah. Now let's go get your code piece. They tell me it should only take a moment. And there. Here you go. I hope that'll be enough to maintain your discretion.
Never forget what the FC did. Never forget.
It is pleasing to speak with you. Until our next talk. so strange that now, for all reasons, is my first time inside this place.
Spoils of victors.
Hopefully they amount to something.
So, what seems punishment becomes providence. A reminder we can never truly know the Great Serpent's designs for us. You have my thanks, and my apologies for the ordeal you just endured. Come, let us discuss. Not the ideal introduction, I suppose, giving you a grand tour of the embassy via barely functioning. I suspect the Venom tree upstairs has worked itself into more systems than I'd realized. Tell me, though, what is it like outside? I heard Is the rest of the city Is that right, huh? Now, it cannot solely be this... and your friend here.
You need not maintain the facade, Kasric. He knows who I am. Who I actually am.
Quite the breach in protocol, Andreja. Something I look forward to discussing further. Once we've established why it is you to have come waltzing through my door uninvited. Now, the broadcast earlier spoke of terror morphs at the spaceport. A worrying occurrence, certainly, but... So the UC requires information. The preservation of life stands as the very purpose of the... But, if I am to grant you access... For years, House Varun has been known only as an agent of slaughter. In exchange for my code, I require this. You must be the one. The knowledge you ask for isn't evil. No knowledge is. We cannot know all the results of one's actions, certainly, but intentions.
Every measure will be taken to ensure the...
Well, please. Let's hope it still works. And there. Let it be used for good. Will we all be so lucky next time the archives need to be accessed? Something to think on. It was tolerable, even pleasant, when my brethren were here in the... We remade this place as best we could into a home we all would recognize. With my brethren gone, it has been trying. But the Great Serpent has solved... The affairs of House Varun are our own. They left. That is all there is... House Varun committed itself. This was said at the time to be the desire of the Great Serpent, and I do not... So, when my brethren left, I remained, honoring this. It is, perhaps, she has her own calling, as I have mine, but I assume that I would not even know of her myself were it not for the urgent need to pass. She must trust you a great deal to have told you.
Did you actually That's incredible. I'm very much looking forward to getting the debrief on how precisely you managed to pull all this regardless. And now, I've already arranged... When you get down there, the UC monitor will give you instructions on how to deploy the code. Here, the UC code piece and an archival access card. The entrance is just on the other side of the plaza across from Mast. Absolute best behavior down there.
Here on.
You got your clearances? Good.
Captain, we've been expecting you. Please approach the monitoring station and we will go over the rules. Welcome, Captain, to the archives. To proceed, you will need to deposit your codes into the 3 corresponding receptacles. Once they are verified, I will open the door. Your data resides in Unit 18. You will not be able to access any of the other units. Once you've collected your data, return to the entrance. You may insert the first of the archival codes when you're ready to begin. You may proceed, Captain.
Something to report?
Pardon?
There you are.
Captain. Surprised to find out we're having visitors as we work.
Major Sanan and I were just discussing the merits of your planned interfactional cooperation. I think it's a great idea. Get them invested in the solution. Make it clear we've got nothing to hide.
I'm sure they'll be lovely house guests.
Now, Captain, if you wouldn't mind transferring the documents to the Major, she and I have been discussing next steps.
Time for us to start getting some real answers. And figure... So whenever you're ready. Time for us to start getting some real answers. And figure out if we've been asking the right questions. So whenever you're ready. Yes. It will be. Percival and I have done our damage. This is us starting to put some things right.
Plus, you don't need her word. We'll be setting up oversight alongside the collective.
You're carrying the most comprehensive collection of information on Terramorphs in the known universe. If we can't pry an answer out of there, it likely doesn't exist. Certainly doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but we're not going to know until Percival and I dig in, so whenever you're ready. Acknowledged and accepted, Captain. So with the data out of the way, we've been discussing where exactly this work's getting done. The Red Devil's headquarters on Mars, back where you found Percival, seemed the natural spot. Already has the equipment, the safety measures. Should even be able to house its own cadre of independent observers. Though it sounded like the deputy had a few more things she needed to discuss with you first.
Indeed. The most important.
Then I guess we'll see you on Mars.
Captain, if you'll follow me.
Excuse me.
Pardon.
Yes? You need something? I look forward to our next discussion.
It won't take long. Follow me. All right, Captain. Are you...
Let's get it done.
Good. This isn't the only
How are
item we
you?
need to discuss, so I'll give you the short version. Please raise your hand. Captain, through your actions today and in days past, you... through service, bravery... Then, Captain, I'm pleased to welcome you into the United... Here, your official ID and your citizen... We've also let the Aphelion Realty office out in the plaza know you're approved to purchase property. Now, the other item we needed to discuss. There's a member of the UC who's asked to speak to you. But normally, we wouldn't even consider something like this. But we think this
YouTube is losing money with you? What do you mean?
Useful in dealing with the Terramorphs. And they've stated they'll only share it with you. They asked for you by name. So I need your agreement that everything you're about to see is kept in the strictest confidence. You can tell no one. Can you agree to these terms? I'm sorry. I can't share. Let's hope it never comes. Head to the elevator. You're going to subsection 7. I'll make sure you're cleared for access.
sir.
Do you mean that they have to store all of my streams?
Are we at all surprised that the UC has such a massive space dedicated to secrets?
Unsealing access. You may proceed down the corridor. But there are no additional visitors permitted. Your friend's gonna have to wait out here.
Very well, I will wait. You go on.
Open the door.
Welcome, Captain. Please, come down and approach the intercom. You and I should chat. President Abeyo was kind enough to give me a few files to peruse. Quite. But now you face a foe unlike any other. An invisible enemy. Which is why I hoped we could speak. I'm what most know me as. I was an admiral during the Colony War. But the previous regime deemed me to a sacrifice on the altar. Even my death. One final act of rebellion by the leadership that lost the Colony War. The trial was authentic. I faced tribunal with dignity. But my execution... staged. A lethal injection that was anything but. The cabinet at the time, long gone now, wished to keep me on as an advisor. And considering the other... So I elected to trade my freedom for my continued existence. Very astute. That's my daughter. Has she shared with you the nature of our... did she? Our relationship has always... The Major was born to become a great leader, carry on the legacy I established, and was... But the universe cut all that short. Now, though, and I think I have a part to play in helping you accomplish what you... After some long years earning the trust of this current regime, the UC has been permitting me, helping them gather intelligence on, locate, and organize scenarios to lure in some of the criminals that evaded. With quite a few successes, I might add. But in the process, I managed to find the names and locations of Hadrian and Percival's old research team. I'll tell you where they are. There is a former colleague of mine. Like myself and Hadrian, he was involved in some of the United Colony's more problematic lines of research. If it dealt death, when the Colony War ended, he fled, refusing to face tribunal, but I finally found him. I'm not expecting he'll bring me evidence that the job's done. Speak to Deputy McIntyre. I'm sure she'd be happy to hear that someone might be time. Though I would ask you, do not make... You can certainly try, but the man's been out there 20 years. Easier for all if you simply blow up his ship and be... Captain, your files indicate a track record of unlikely successes. It is... and this? If that's what you require to sleep at night. According to my information, he's been hiding around the... There's a star station in the...